Welcome back to Time to Pump and Dump. It is episode 3 with your host, Maggie and Julie.
Yes, we have made it. Hump Day, episode 3.
Oh my gosh, the one thing that I think we've been missing from this episode, I brought today.
Mm,
And girlfriend, that's a glass of champagne.
yeah, it's necessary.
I know. I'm sorry you can't have one.
I know. I'm just going to be living vicariously through you. Until then, I like to think that coffee gives me the same high, per se,
Yeah.
that alcohol does. I'm on that coffee high.
Okay, well, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to episode 3. Woohoo!
We made it.
Yeah, I was actually asking some of our friends, like I keep asking, like, what's your feedback? And everyone's like, I think you need a glass of wine because even my mom last episode, I opened it up and apparently I sounded super professional. And she was like, I literally didn't know who that was. I'm like, I'm like putting on this like professional persona. I'm like, what am I doing, Maggie?
We're getting in our heads. So are people saying
No.
that they think that we're like more fun to be around when we're drunk? Is that what I'm getting from that?
That's what I got. Yeah. That's like the moral of what everyone's been saying is like, you're way more fun when you drink. Here I am.
Noted.
Recording and drinking. Noted. Gotcha. Yeah, you don't have to ask me twice to have a glass of champagne.
Fine, pull my arm. It goes along with what we're trying to do. I mean, we're all about popping the champagne and just like getting real.
Literally, our like tagline says, come have a glass of wine with us while we pump and dump. And here we are like trying to be sober. I mean, you have to be, but I'm like, I can have fun for the both of us.
It's really weird because now I'm at 4 months and a couple of days pregnant, and I don't miss alcohol right now. I'm not missing it now. Even when I can go hang around like a bunch of people drinking, tailgating, and I'm totally fine having my sparkling water.
Okay, well, that kind of brings me to my pump and dump of the week. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so if you are following my personal account, you guys on Instagram, you might have seen I hit a pretty big milestone, 9 months postpartum, and I got back into my pre-baby jeans.
That is huge.
It's huge. It's not like they like totally slipped on with ease. I mean, there was definitely some hiking and jumping up.
Stretching.
Yeah. But they got over my hips and my ass. And that is so big because when I tried them on like 6 months ago, they didn't get above my knees. So I'm definitely going to say that I was feeling myself this weekend. Like I was feeling confident and we went downtown. Saturday was the Kentucky Derby. So like there were a lot of people out. The bar we went to downtown, there was a DJ and we got there probably at like 11:30. We went with a couple of our friends, not drinking outrageously at all. Just like maybe like a drink an hour or something.
Yeah.
Uptown Funk came on by Bruno Mars. And we were watching these people dance, and this girl was wasted. She was sitting on one guy's lap, and then she'd go to another guy's lap, and she was just falling out. Her boob almost popped out, and she was dancing, and like we were having fun watching her. And somebody at our table said something like, "I bet you won't go up there and dance," something along those lines. And after like a couple of drinks, and I feel like I used to do this like in high school too, completely sober. I got up there, ran, danced with her, and you've seen my dance skills. It's like a little bit of like the cowboy twist and just it's funky. And I was getting down like, like pointing to people, like total white man dance. The people beside us, we had made friends with them. They were cheering us on. Like I was probably up there for maybe 45 seconds. So people clapped when I got off. Like it was just so much fun. It literally reminded me of the stuff that I used to do when I was younger. And so I sat down and then Sean looks at me and he's pointing to his phone. He sends me a text message that says, "You're cut off."
What?
And I thought it was kind of loud. It was a little bit annoying how loud it was. Like I couldn't, like we were having to text across the table. The DJ was playing his music so loud. So then I thought he was joking. And then I thought he was telling me like, "Okay, Maggie, you've had enough. Like I'm cutting you off." Well, then come to find out the server came up to Sean while I went up there and danced and said, "She's had too much. She can't have any more."
Because of your dance skills?
Because of my dance skills.
Wait, your dances are so funny though. Like they're hilarious.
I know. So then I'm like getting like really, really nervous. And at one time, like I actually thought that, okay, maybe Sean misheard her or she was being sarcastic and he didn't pick up on her sarcasm. She was dead ass serious. So then she was also getting off of her break. And at this point, okay, maybe we had been there for a really long time, but we were waiting on the derby to come on. So we were just having fun sitting there, like just having conversations throughout the day. It comes out that like, then somebody orders a drink, hands it to me, because then I'm literally not allowed to order anymore. And she was like, no, you really can't have that. And then that's why I was like, can you come talk to me for a minute? And my friend was sitting by us and she was so funny. She was like, if you think this is her drunk, you've never seen her drunk. Like, that's her being funny. That was not drunk at all. I was like, and so then I started talking, and I think she heard like the clarity in my voice that I was completely sober. She apologized and she was like, I've just never seen, one, people stay here so long. And then two, I've never seen somebody just get up and dance. I'm like, you work at a bar. You're telling me you've never seen a group of people sit here for 4 hours and then someone go dance?
She was probably just so irritated at the end of her shift too.
I guess so. I mean, because she really did feel bad. She ended up apologizing because I, like, for real, was talking clear as day. Like, I'm kind of confused why you cut me off. So, yeah, I guess I'm a terrible dancer that you would just think I'm drunk. And what was almost more annoying is then looking at the people on the dance floor, this girl's boob about to pop out. And they're like, no one said anything to her but me. I don't know.
You're out there like having a good time. Do you want to give us a little preview of like what your dances are?
It's a lot of like I hold right here and I kind of swing like this and my legs go side to side.
It's like swing dancing. It's like very 1950s, I want to say, the way you dance. It's hilarious.
There's a lot of like running and pointing.
I'm glad that you pulled her aside and said something though.
Me too. I really wasn't going to say anything. And then I was like, okay, I kind of feel like my like character is being questioned here. I want to say something.
Hello, I am a mom. Okay.
Well, Tipton was there with us too. I'm like, this is his first sign of his mom embarrassing him. I felt like I was being just my funny self. I don't know. She was hating on me. So that's a bit of my pump. My pump is fit into my jeans, got my groove back, and then bam, I should never dance again. And I was cut off. So my pump and my dump go in the same story.
That's hilarious. I love that story. Well, honestly, congrats to you for getting in your jeans. You should do a 9-month in, 9-month out photo.
So it's 9 months next week. I don't know if I'm ready for people to see that totally unfiltered 9-month in photo.
They need to see the evidence.
All right. So yeah, we're going to talk about pregnancy in a little bit. And again, I'm just going to be a totally unfiltered glass of champagne Maggie today. So get ready.
We're moving, like I said last week, and everything has happened so fast. My pump is we sold our house in less than 72 hours. So we're under contract to sell. Last minute went to Atlanta. It's just the market. And then last minute we went to Atlanta to like look for new houses, found a house the first day we were there. And now we're under contract to buy a new home. So that's my pump. We were on the way back yesterday. We were just like looking, staring in a state of like shock just because of how much has drastically changed in 1 week.
No, I definitely thought when y'all went to look at houses, it was going to kind of be just like getting familiar with the area. And then you sent me that picture of you standing in front of the house. And I didn't really know. I'm like, what? And you were like, we're under contract.
In 7 days, we'll be officially moved out of this house. So this goes into my dump. In 7 days, our movers are coming, and we're going to be essentially homeless for 20 days. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. We're going to be like living with the in-laws, and it'll be really interesting because 20 days can really seem like forever when you're not in your comfort of your own home.
Yeah, not being in your bed, being in somebody else's house, like that's a lot. I feel like this is going to be one of those things though, you look back and be like, did we really live with our in-laws for 20 days while I was pregnant? Yeah, and being pregnant too, it'll be interesting because I'm a little bit more irritable and can only handle so much. But I'll be staying with my mom too for a couple of weeks. I'll live with my mom for a week and then I'll go live with my in-laws for a week. So we're going to like break it up. Okay, so I love hearing your pump and dump. I'm not going to lie. The pump and dump section is like, it gets me excited every week to open this up. And I love like when something happens, I'm like, bingo. That's what I'm putting on my pump and dump. So, all right. So it sounds like we both had some really good weeks. I'm going to keep getting out there, maybe dancing a little bit so I can bring another embarrassing story to you guys. But that's literally like my favorite part of our show is our pump and dumps.
All right. So for this next segment, I kind of want to like full circle and bring it back to your pump from the beginning of the episode. So you just got into your pre-pregnancy jeans, which is phenomenal, freaking awesome, must be celebrated. Let's talk about what led up to the exceptional weight loss that you just had. Like what leading up to the process during pregnancy, like what got you to where
leading up to the weight loss was the 70-pound weight gain.
Let's talk about that. Let's dig into that. Let's rip it out.
All right. So I'm going to blame the shutdown of the United States last year with COVID. So we were supposed to go on a bachelorette party to Miami, and I had found out I was pregnant. So I knew already that trip, like I wasn't going to be looking super hot. And I remember like sending pictures of our outfits. And one of our girlfriends, Erin, she showed me what she was going to wear. And it was this like hot pink spandex mini skirt with like some strappy top and everything. And I literally sent her back this like dandelion sundress. And I'm like, are we going on 2 separate trips? Like, I think I should officially be uninvited here. Like, first of all, so I was already not really fitting in to the vibe of this trip. And then, so like I was planning on my kind of matronly outfits. And then sadly, that trip got canceled. And that was then like, when it set in with me, I'm like, why would I try anymore to be cute? Like, essentially, we are locked in our houses. I am just going to eat whatever I can. And then it was almost like a challenge with myself. It was like, how much more can I gain until my next appointment?
It's like a game now.
It really was. It was like, ting, 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 higher and higher. And then I would like look up the recommended weight gain, and it was like 6 pounds every trimester. And I was like, 15 pounds, like every trimester, like blowing out the scale. Yeah. So I definitely, hands down, enjoyed my pregnancy. Although like I had some crummy days where I had headaches and everything, there was not one thing I did not say no to eating.
What was like the best thing you ate? Or like your best craving, I guess, even.
I don't even know if it was, I feel like I was weird. I didn't have like one specific craving. I guess it was fried chicken. It was essentially anything fried.
So weird.
So I was getting Chick-fil-A probably 4 times a day, sometimes twice a day. Sean would just go out and get me whatever. And then he would try to be really sweet and bring me the cookies and cream, king size chocolate bar.
Hershey bar.
And I will say, like, even when I guess that was my craving, because when I'm about to start my period, I'm not a big chocolate person anyway, but white chocolate, for some reason, I can tell when I'm about to start my period. So then when I guess I was pregnant, that's what I wanted. And I even remember like my sister being so sweet, giving me all of these hand-me-down pregnancy clothes. She gave me like 16 pairs of Lululemon shorts, and not one of them fit. You know when you try on shorts and all of a sudden your thighs just start like
sandpaper.
They're sandpaper. Yeah, exactly. And then
like zits in your thigh area.
You know, when you see the girls walking down the street when they're walking and they have to like hike the leg out and like kind of incognito pull their short out from their vagina, like. That's what I was doing. And then it was hot. So I ended up wearing leggings and all this stuff. And God bless him, Sean said the other day, he was like, I really didn't realize how big you had gotten. I'm like, how?
I feel like when you're around people that you love and you're around them every day, like you don't see the changes because they're gradual. But like
Sean gains 5 pounds. I'm like, whoa, babe. Like, I don't have that. I don't have that glass over my eyes. Like, I'm like, no, I can tell you're getting a little chubby.
And actually, when you said the floral dresses, I feel like now, because I'm pregnant now, all I'm looking at is floral, like flowy outfits. What is it? Why do we like change our style? I used to think
all of a sudden we start acting like we're 70-year-old women. Like,
yeah, I have like all these things saved on my like to know it, and I'm like pregnancy outfit inspo, and they're like cute, like tight jeans. I don't know, and
okay, but there's also that weird point in pregnancy, and that's where you are right now. You just feel fluffy, like you kind of have a beer belly.
I look like I drank 17 beers last night.
Yeah.
And this is the point. I mean, I remember you being at this point too, where you're just like, I just feel fat. I'll be at the grocery store and like it's one of those situations like you can't really tell that I'm pregnant unless I'm probably holding my stomach towards the bottom. And there will be a girl behind me in the grocery line and I'm like, she just thinks I'm fat. So I'll like touch my stomach and I'm like,
yeah,
yo,
yeah, I used
like
to
I
do that
promise
too.
I'm eating kale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I ain't that.
Or
I'm
like
just
talk
not. I'm really
loud.
not this fat.
But
Making
see,
it real
that's the
known.
weird thing about the clothes is I think a super cute outfit is like the tight dress with, you know, the shirt kind of tied that accentuates your bump. But when you're in this weird stage of like it's soft still,
Yeah,
you don't want to show that off. So that's why
No.
then you do the flowy floral dresses that then you're like, you're exactly right. Why do we dress like a completely, like our style hasn't changed. We're just fat.
Right. Yeah. I'm feeling embarrassed because my shower's like really early and we did it that way because I thought I was going to be moving really far. So I'm looking for dresses now and I'm like, I need it to be tight, but then I don't want to look like, you know, I'm trying too hard where it's like really short.
Wait, how many
I
weeks
don't
are you
know.
going to be at your first shower?
18 and a half, which
Okay.
I feel like some people pop at 20.
Yeah, I feel like I popped at 20. I also feel like for your first pregnancy, at least what I've seen is you start showing a little bit later. You are like a much smaller framed person. So I think it's like any day. I feel like the smaller people kind of pop. Like I just looked fatter longer. Here's what happened. I got wide. I got wide before I went out. So even like the jeans that I got back on, those didn't fit. A lot of people can wear their normal jeans like kind of far into their pregnancy.
Yeah.
I could not. It was like, honestly, it was like 6 weeks and my thighs started, they kind of started like bowing out that I had that like secretary butt going on.
On the side.
On the side. Oh, so you remember.
No, I can relate with the secondary butt.
Secretary butt.
Oh, I thought you said secondary.
What's a secondary butt?
I don't know. I was thinking like your second butt.
No.
Just
I only had
meat.
one.
Extra meat to grab on.
It was love handles on my thighs. A saddlebag. Yeah, so my body just started changing like really, really early on. And yeah, Sean being just the sweetheart he is, he said that he couldn't notice except for the pictures, like I have been doing progression pictures through my weight loss. And now he's definitely seeing like, and I would almost be offended if he hadn't seen a difference. I'm like, I'm working my ass off.
There is no way you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. We are eventually, I'm going to try to convince Maggie to release on social media the progress pictures from day one, or like it was like 6 weeks after your pregnancy, after you had given birth.
Yeah, it was exactly 8 weeks. As soon as I was cleared to work out, I was able to, or I took the pictures. And y'all, Julie rags on me for the shorts that I was wearing. I got them at Old Navy. They're cute and they're camo, but it is just like you would think, like the Jared from Subway picture. Like I could probably fit 3 girls in that one pair of shorts.
In that one leg. One leg, 2 girls could fit.
But what's sad is it fit me at one point.
2 girls, 1 pant leg. We'll make a new video.
Yeah, I don't know. If we get some traction on this episode and people want to see it, I'll share it. I've come far enough that I don't feel like I even look like that person. Like, I'm not kidding. No. I think my eyebrows got fat. Like, if you look at that picture, they're like kind of hanging over. And granted, I hadn't gotten Botox in a while, but they were like hanging over. All my features just kind of meshed into one. Like I just look like a thumb. I look like a big fat thumb.
But also, why is Sean so sweet when he was like telling you he couldn't see your differences of you getting saddlebags? Literally at 13 weeks, I woke up one morning and was changing. Ruben's in the kitchen, which is 3 completely separate rooms. And he looks over at me. The first thing he says to me on like a Tuesday morning is, wow, I can really tell you're getting whiter.
That
and I was
to me is
literally silence.
In his defense, because he told me that he said that. And I think he was trying to give you a compliment of saying like, your body's doing what it's supposed to.
No woman wants to hear that she's getting as wide as a train track. Like,
no. She'll move over. I'm definitely the person that I can separate like the body that was forming because Tipton was inside of me was huge.
Was
massive. And it took me 9 months. And I'm not back to my goal. Like I said, like I was definitely dancing in the jeans. I was shimming them on. Like they're not coming on like butter. But I can appreciate the fact that that body gave me Tipton and not be in love with my body right now, because I definitely have stretch marks, like kind of right above my C-section scar, but I never had them before. I think it's a really kind of weird thing to look at. I developed this, it's gone now. I developed this weird pocket of fat right above my butt cheek that was like, what is that? It was like a little extra
What purpose does that serve?
Don't know. Was it giving nourishment to Tipton? I don't know.
Was it just extra cushion for your lumbar?
It must be. Yeah, like, ooh, my back hurt. There's some fat to roll over on. But like we were kind of talking about it. I do think there's definitely like the body positivity trend going on right now, and I am all for that. However, I am also all for saying this isn't what my body normally looks like. I don't love it. I think it looks different, and I'm not totally comfortable in my skin. Like, I can tell you for a fact, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I would not have gone up and ran to the top of a bar and danced to that song.
I think what you're saying is 100% true, because even now, we were actually messaging about this earlier this week. I was telling you, I'm starting to see cellulite form in places that I didn't used to have it, like in my legs. They used to always be toned. And I'm like upset seeing my body change. And I think because we as women are so used to seeing our body being one way for, our entire life. And then now we're coming into womanhood and motherhood and we're forming a baby, which is a miracle. What the body does is truly amazing. And I'm amazed every single day of just how much my body is changing. And I'm thankful for it. And I'm grateful that I'm able to do that. But it doesn't mean that I can't be upset that my arms are fat and I'm uncomfortable wearing a bra.
It is completely your right. And people will tell you like, oh, you should be proud of this body. You should be proud of your stretch marks, show them off and everything. It's like, again, I'm not saying I'm not proud of what my body did giving life to a human. That's insane to me. But
it's crazy.
I don't look like myself. I think it's a little weird. I'm having to go buy pant sizes that I never would have thought I would have had to purchase.
Everyone's like, pregnancy is beautiful. But when they say that, it's beautiful to watch life form in your body. I think that's amazing. But like, what is really behind that bump? You vomit, like, throwing up and being so nauseous, like that shit is not beautiful.
Right. I feel like there's like two movements going on, at least in like the social media world. It's like you've got the body positivity, love your body, it's changing. And then you've got the other girls right now, women that are definitely like, let's talk about pregnancy not being the best thing. And like, I definitely, although didn't have a crazy pregnancy, like I actually never threw up once. However, actually I did throw up once. I smelled asparagus and Brussels sprouts that Sean tried to do meal prep for me. Don't meal prep asparagus. What the hell?
Even not pregnant, Brussels sprout smells like a fart. And that would make anyone gag.
I opened it up and I was like, oh my God. Immediately sprinted to the trash can. But he was trying to be sweet. That was at the very beginning of it. Then he started bringing me the Hershey's bars. Even though I didn't have this like awful throwing up, there were the headaches. There was my body changing. Yeah. I was nauseous. I would like to get pregnant one more time if I can. And then I think
God
that's
willing.
it. Like, God willing. I don't love the experience. And I don't think that's a bad thing to say. I think that like, does that mean I don't love Tipton? No, I just don't like being pregnant.
Okay. So weight gain is one thing, but let's talk about the fact that no one told me that I was going to be celibate while I was pregnant. I am in like a serious rut. Like from the moment we got pregnant, that's just been like completely off the table for me. Maybe because I was like super nauseous in the beginning. For the first like 13 weeks, I was like, don't even come near me with a 20-foot pole. It's not even a 10-foot pole. You can't be far enough away from me because I'm going to like be so sick on you.
Right.
But everyone's told me, or I've read, in your second trimester, you're going to get a new gust of wind. You're going to want to just hump like rabbits.
I had a new gust of wind to like, all right, let's go to Target or whatever. But I was still not like, let's be sexy. And one probably, it was because I was so big. But I did not want to do it. I think we probably did it maybe like 4 times. But there really is this weird time. Like there is like people are telling you there's the sweet spot of the second trimester. When, oh my God, I just thought of something I really want to touch on. I'm sorry. Have you had really weird pregnancy dreams yet?
Last night was my
Please,
first really.
please share.
Okay, you go first because I'm embarrassed.
All right. So I was having reoccurring sexual dreams about women.
Oh gosh.
I'm not going to name any names here. Oh, here, I had one reoccurring one about Taylor Swift all the time. And then there was
Taylor Swift.
I know. Oh my God, we're going to get canceled after I just said I don't care for her music. I don't care.
I stand for Taylor Swift. I love a good T Swift. I'm a Swiftie.
No, so I would have ones about her. It was really weird. We were in the line of Starbucks and I was like starting to feel weird, like concerned. Am I? So I asked Sean, I was like, I have to tell you something. I'm like, I went down on a girl last night in my dream. Am I gay? Well, actually, I'd like to hear his answer now. I think he was probably like, what? Yeah. So actually, I can't remember exactly what he said because I was questioning it. I was bi-curious for about 9 months, but it's weird. I think your hormones are just like so crazy.
Maybe you were like, low-key, well, I'm about to be a mom and this is probably my last time to.
Yeah. I actually woke up and thought that. I'm like, I never went through like a questioning phase in college. Like, ooh,
experimenting.
Did I miss my opportunity? And I did.
That's hilarious. I hope Taylor Swift listens to this episode and gives you a chance.
You don't like my music, but you're going to like something else.
No, I actually had one. It was last night. And it's, when you have those dreams and they feel so real.
Yes.
And you're like, you feel them physically, but it's just a dream. I'm getting myself worked up.
I see it.
Thankfully it was about Ruben. So I am thankful for that one. But, I woke him up super early this morning because I had the dream and I needed to tell him about it. And it's funny because like we're in that weird phase right now where it's been a minute. That's probably why I had the dream.
Yeah, that's probably why I had the dream. Your wife duties come in. You're like, I am failing on my vows. Like, let's just get in and get out.
Leave me.
Right.
Isn't it just so weird though that the one thing that you have to do to get pregnant when you get pregnant, you don't want to do it. It's different for everyone, but just speaking on that, like, when we were trying to get pregnant, we were trying for a couple of months, but during that week of ovulation, we're humping like bunnies for 7 days straight. Ruben said he felt like he was just showing up to work with his lunchbox. Like, I'm here to clock in. Like, let's get to it.
Okay.
Every day for 7 days.
That might be the best thing I have ever heard. He felt like he was showing up to a job.
Yeah. Let me preface it with, we had just recovered from COVID.
Oh, that's so true.
Which we were 2 weeks clean of the virus. And I was like, this is our week to shine. Thankfully, we had enough energy. But like towards the end of the week, he told me later, he was like, I feel like, I was clocking in and out every day, like showing up with my lunch pail, like, here I am, clock in, clock out.
That really is. I've always wondered about the people who like are trying for months on end. Like, are you having fun anymore? Or does it really just feel like a job? And
it is a chore.
Yeah.
It's a chore.
I got real lucky.
You did. You got really lucky. And there are people like you who, one and done.
I'm not going to say who it was, but we talked to somebody in my family that was like, one and done. He was like, doing it's the best part. I'm like, that is so awkward, Dad.
Was it your dad?
Yes.
No. Wow.
Yeah, I was like, can you never say that again, please? Like, I don't even want you
to discuss this.
Did you not feel weird telling your parents that you were pregnant? It's like, I've done it. I'm not a virgin.
Yes. I feel weird telling my parents even when I'm drinking. I'm almost 30 and I'm still awkward around my parents.
Yeah, that's so funny. What are they going to think when they listen to this episode?
You don't need to hear anything over PG-13 and this is rated R.
Yeah, I mean, we do have to click like so when we publish our episodes, we have to put like clean or explicit. I'm like, I think we said a cuss word. I think.
Yeah.
No, but you're so right that it's so funny that like sex is how you make a baby. But then when you have the baby, you're like, that's the last thing. Didn't we accomplished what we were trying? Why would we keep doing it? I'll see you.
I'm done. Your services are no longer needed. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Store is closed.
I did like a lot of research when we started trying because we were trying for a couple months. And there really is a very small window for when you can get pregnant. It's like 24 to 48 hours when your egg drops. And going into, the past several years when and you too, in any relationship you are having sex, I've always thought that, if a guy released inside you, you're pregnant immediately.
Yeah, I actually didn't think that. I had a doctor tell me at 19 years old that I was unable to get pregnant because there was this weird thing happening with she essentially told me I went through premenopause at 18. I didn't have a period for a year. That was weird. I was having weird night sweats and just like kind of all these symptoms. And so this lady told me that I wasn't able to get pregnant. And I think that was the wrong thing to tell an 18-year-old because thankfully, like through college or whatever, previous relationships, like I didn't have an uh-oh. I obviously can get pregnant. Sean and I got pregnant on the first try. And that's what's so mind-blowing to me about the probability of getting pregnant. We had literally had the conversation, hey, do you want to start trying? And then I think that was like when we were in Mexico. And then a week later, so around Thanksgiving, we put up our Christmas tree, had a couple glasses of wine, by the fire, by the tree. The lovemaking was happening, and then I got pregnant.
Wow.
Like, one time.
Wow. The mood was set, though.
The mood was set. So every time a Christmas tree comes up, I'm like, Sean, I'm not ready.
That's like a baby making mood, though.
And that's why I was so shocked when I found out that I was pregnant. You were coming into town like 2 weeks later or something. And I just felt like, okay, I should take a test. She's coming in town. I know we're going to be getting down. And yeah, I took 3 tests. And the first test, you don't believe it. I think in any situation, whether you've been trying once or for a year, that first positive test, you're like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, okay, all right, how many did you take?
I took 7 on this pregnancy. I'm like, LOL.
It comes in like a package of 2 for $26.
I know. Well, I ended up starting to Amazon mine. You can get them on Amazon, really? I think, for a little bit cheaper. Yeah. Here's what happened. I was using the CVS brands, and I think I definitely mentioned this to you, but I had like a chemical pregnancy in December. And when that happened, I took 10 tests that time. 7 came back positive, 3 were negative. And you told me there's no such thing as a false negative. But then I ended up getting my period or whatever. So I was using CVS off-brand pregnancy test for several of those. So then the next time that we tried, I was like, I'm doing straight first response, digital and non-digital. So I did 7. But I was like stacking up on pregnancy tests. Even when I was 13 weeks pregnant, I knew I was pregnant at this moment. I had 2 ultrasounds. I still took a pregnancy test. I was like, am I sure? Like, are you sure?
Let's not lie. Right before we started recording this episode, you were like, am I still pregnant?
Okay.
What do you mean?
It's really weird. In between your appointments, it's hard waiting until you see him again or see her again. And like your stomach, it changes every single day. Some days I'm bigger, some days I'm not. It's today, this week, it's really soft. And so I'm like, is he still in there? What's he doing? I don't know.
Until you start feeling them kick, or thankfully Tipton had the hiccups literally almost all day, like every day. And that was, I was like, amazing. Okay, all right. That makes me feel good because there's that month in between appointments that you're like, I just want to know like if they're alive. So it is a really nerve-wracking. Actually, okay, that goes back to when I was talking about my weird like symptoms and me not loving pregnancy. It was because I was just so unsure of that you're worried the whole time. I have never been worried like that, but there's nothing you can do. And it's in a weird thing. You're like, okay, they're probably as safe as they're ever going to be in my belly, but I don't really feel safe because I don't know if they're alive. So then like the whole time you're like, oh my gosh. And then like, oh no, they're not safe when they turn 16. And then you start thinking about them turning 16, which is like the thoughts I've been having recently. Oh my God.
It's never ending.
Is he going to have sex?
Oh my gosh, having that conversation with him.
Sean's doing it.
Sean will do it. Ruben's going to do it. Yeah.
Unless we have a girl, then I'll have the conversation with her. Like, don't do it.
Here's how you put a tampon in.
Oh, I remember that conversation with my mom.
You know what's so funny? Whenever I had that conversation, I couldn't get the tampon in there. And I was like yelling out, I don't have a vagina hole. Because I couldn't get it in there. I didn't know where it would go. And so I just didn't think that I had a vagina hole.
Stop.
I'm dead serious.
Well, mine was at camp and I had to have a girl. So my mom we hadn't had the tampon conversation yet. I was at camp and we were about to go whitewater rafting. And the girl taught me how to put it in, but she didn't tell me to take the cardboard out.
No!
So I, for 7 hours on a rafting trip, had cardboard. I'm like, is it supposed to hurt this bad?
Oh my God. But yeah, everything worries you. Everything worries you currently as a mom. It did when you were pregnant. Everything now worries me. Every little symptom that I notice, I'm like, is that normal? Like, for example, I had diarrhea on a week that it wasn't a known symptom. And I'm a diarrhea connoisseur. I feel like I know a lot about IBS because, my system is very regular. So anyways.
Tagline of the week, I'm a diarrhea connoisseur. Cool.
I know a lot about the exit zone, okay? And anyways, I had diarrhea on a week that I Googled. It wasn't a known symptom at the time. It was supposed to be the opposite. You're supposed to have really bad constipation, and I didn't. I was having diarrhea constantly every time I went. So I admitted myself to the hospital because I was like, this is not normal. I shouldn't be feeling this way. And here I go going into the hospital.
What were you thinking was wrong with you? Because I got worried because you were making me feel like something was going on.
Yeah.
Why did you go to the hospital? Just for the diarrhea?
Because I was having diarrhea so much for it was 9 days though.
Okay.
It's not normal to have diarrhea for 9 days. But then I was like, okay, well, I'm pregnant. So maybe I'm just having loose stools, but it wasn't loose stools. So I admitted myself to the hospital and they were like, oh, nothing's wrong with you. You're fine. You're pregnant.
That's all I can think about. Yeah. I can just imagine you going to the doctor, laying there expecting the worst. I see the curtain pulling open and be like, Julie, you have diarrhea.
Use butthole syndrome.
Yeah. And you're like, oh shit, this is embarrassing. I'm just gonna see myself out.
On that note, bye.
See you next week, huh? Same time?
But yeah, you just worry. Everything worries you.
Your body is changing. Everything feels weird. Everything feels different. So there is no your thoughts are valid if you think something's weird. If you think something's weird, call your nurse. You just gonna feel weird. I remember you haven't gotten there yet, but lightning crotch is a thing. Get ready for
lightning crotch. That's something crotch. Different than fire crotch. Okay. Noted.
Noted. Yeah. Google lightning crotch. It is literally the expansion of your pelvic area getting ready to. So it's in the last 4 or so weeks. You'll be laying there. Also, you're like, ah! And your crotch feels like it's on lightning. I think that's the best way to describe what lightning crotch is.
I've never heard
Have
that.
Have you never heard of that?
Never. I just wrote down lightning crotch. So post episode, I'll be going to learn all about the lightning crotch. Well, I don't think that I'm going to be able to top that. So on that note, I think that wraps up this segment. And we're going to take a quick break because Maggie needs to refill her champagne glass. And when we come back, we'll have our first guest. And we're back with Kate as our first guest. Kate is a rock star and mom of 2. She has many titles to her name, which include real estate investor, CrossFit instructor, stay-at-home mom. As if she needed anything else on her plate while wrestling 2 kids under 4, she just launched her own interior designing company, Wren Interiors, where she has the eye to make your dreams come true. She is driven, gorgeous, and unofficially a part-time comedian. Please join us in welcoming our very first guest, Wren.
Hello, hello. Are you going to say that about me every time I come in the room?
It's hilarious that Kate and I are sisters, and Julie was like, can I write the introduction for Kate? She texted me, she was like, can I write it out? I have it typed out. I was like, yeah, sure. If you want to, it doesn't need to be super formal. She was like, okay, well, I already have it. It's gonna be funny. And so I just think that's hilarious. That was her memoir to you of her, of it was like a love letter.
But let me just put a little PSA in here. I had to remove 2 sentences saying, my husband loves her. She thinks she's gorgeous. He wants to leave me for her.
He does.
Do you know that, Kate?
Yeah. On her wedding night, he was like, wow, I'm in love with Kate.
Literally on our wedding night, we're going up the elevator. He was like, out of nowhere, Kate is beautiful. I was like, well, you're not getting any tonight.
That is the most awkward thing to ever say on your wedding night.
I was like, oh, you mean, that's funny that Julie rhymes with Kate. You meant Julie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that did you misspeak or?
We literally just ended our conversation talking about pregnancy, talking about, I educated Julie on a phrase called lightning crotch, which I'm pretty sure you educated me on.
It's unpleasant.
Until you're pregnant, there's no reason to know that that's a thing.
But could they not have come up with a better name? Like, there are some things when it comes to pregnancy, they're like, could you not have come up with a better term?
The reasons why we wanted to have you on the podcast is because I am a mom of an almost 9-month-old. Julie's pregnant. Your kids are a little bit older. So we wanted to hear from you of what like everyday real life is as a stay-at-home mom, also running businesses with a boy and a girl. Like, what if you had to describe your like everyday life with the kids in one word, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Nuts.
Yeah. What kind of nuts?
Insanity. Like, it is so much fun, and it's also so not fun.
Yeah.
Like, there are minutes in the day where I'm like, this is the best thing in the world. I love my kids so much. They're true angels sent down from the heavens.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there are other days I'm like, the devil needs to take my children back. Like,
Send them back.
yeah. Like, the demons have overtaken them. I don't know what happened. They went from being so sweet to like being just 2 and 4. And like, you know, you think too, like, I'm not going to be that parent. I'm never going to get mad. I know they can't regulate their emotions. I'm just going to love them patiently through it. And that's good.
Yeah.
If you can really do that. But I can't always. And I like to say that I can, but I mean, some days are a challenge. Like, it's with anything. Some days being pregnant is the greatest thing in the world. And then like you feel terrible. Or some days having a 9-month-old is great. And then he pulls your hair. You know, it's like, there's never an entire day of bliss or an entire day of bad.
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing to kind of get my head around, because you do start feeling a little guilty of like when Tipton pulls my hair out in chunks, like I get mad and then I get mad at him and then I feel guilty. But then I'm like, I think that's normal. Like, I don't think there's ever a day where I'm just going to be in total bliss all day for 24 hours. There's definitely going to be something, some annoyances along the way, some anger along the way. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you get in bed and you're like, I mean, I'm finding myself, I will get irritated with him, ready to put him to bed. And then I look at pictures of him when he goes to sleep.
Oh, you guys, I was so tired last night. Like, my son has been struggling with sleep and we had a really rough night before last. And last night I'm like, I'm gonna go to bed so early. And at 11:30, I'm looking at pictures of them and I'm like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
But if he came downstairs at that moment, I would be furious.
Yeah. Do you ever just look at the photos? I'm sure you do. I'm curious to know, because I'm an expecting mother now, and think like, oh my gosh, I made this human. And does it freak you out that they look like you?
Well, Carter looks nothing like me.
I can't answer that question.
Know that.
Robert looks exactly like
Robert is me.
Yeah.
What's weird to me, and one of my best friends here just had a baby, and we were talking, it's so weird that they come out and that's what they look like in your stomach. Like, you're looking at them, and like 30 minutes ago, they were inside your stomach looking just that, being a fish and like living in water. And then they come out and like, that was what was in your stomach.
Yeah. Well, I even thought about it because Tipton was delivered at 39 weeks. So then even a week later, I'm like, ew, you still would have been here? Like, you're now like drinking milk. Like,
weird.
How would you have been in my stomach?
I think it's so weird that they live in fluid, but they can't breathe when they come out. They can't breathe water.
You know,
but we're breathing it in there. It's weird.
These are all the questions that like keep me up at night.
Yeah. You know what's weird? This is really weird. Science blows my mind. I just had my ultrasound appointment and I'm thinking, how can this little gadget see in my belly?
Okay.
There's not a lens that it's looking through. It's weird. Nope. It's all about the sound, I think. Who knows? I had to Google it.
These are all things that I realize why I'm a stay-at-home mom.
I cannot be a scientist.
No, I'm not saving the world.
So you did mention like sometimes you feel like your kids are demons. Okay.
Yeah.
Toddlers in general, I feel like can be a little demonic. When I like watch YouTube videos sometimes of toddlers doing like super crazy things. I know I did it when I was a toddler. I would like just go wake up in the middle of the night at like 3 a.m. and just go stare at my parents until they woke up. Have they had any of those instances where they're just staring at you?
Well, they haven't stared at me, but we've had some activity in our
Gosh.
house.
Okay.
And Robert said that he saw a lady standing next to his bed. And that I was like, what? He was like, Mom, where's the new lady? I'm like, well, what new lady? And he was like, the one that stands by my bed at night. And she holds my hands like this. And she's wearing a mask and put the mask on me. I'm like, well,
she's holding my hands like this?
Yeah.
So
like, I'll never sleep again.
Nope.
So now, like, when I go into their bedroom and put their clothes in their closet, I'm like, terrified.
Where is she?
Yeah. So the other night, Carter, my daughter, saw something. And she was like, Mom, what's the scary Halloween lady doing? I'm like, girl, what's she talking about? And she told me that she saw a lady standing there bathing some children in her bedroom.
Shut up. Shut up. She said that?
Yes.
Bathing the children?
Are you sure their imaginations aren't just having conversations? Because they're starting to kind of play on their own for a couple of minutes in the playroom. Like, are they having these conversations?
I don't know what's going on. They've been like really scared in my house. So you guys, I saged the house. I smudged the house yesterday. And I like had this huge ass stick of sage. And I'm like lighting. And I'm walking through the house. One of my friends got it for me at a yoga place.
Okay.
That's how you know it's legit.
That's how you know it's real. I'm like, this is the real sage. So I was walking through the house, like, you have to say whatever it is that you want to recite. Blah, blah.
You're chanting. Are you
Stop
chanting?
it. What
Get out
were
of my
you
house. I'm like, we only surround ourselves with the light of Jesus Christ. Get out of my house.
The Lord is in this house. Get out.
So then Bo, my husband, walks upstairs and he's like, what are you doing?
And like, he saw you doing this.
Record me. And I'm like, I'm getting rid of the bad energy. And right now, you're the bad energy. And I smudged the house. And I will say this, what's crazy about it, Robert my son had gotten to the point where he was not wanting to walk from like the kitchen to the den, which is like the same room.
Because he was scared?
He was scared of something. Something was freaking him out. And he went up to the playroom by himself after I did it. And I didn't tell him anything. So I will say this. Do I think it's like a creepy Halloween lady? No, because Carter also that same night saw a frog climbing up my leg and like saw a bear in my room. But energy is like a real thing.
Yeah.
And your kids, and Maggie, you and I have talked about this of like, even your baby feels your energy.
Yeah.
So if you're an anxious mom or like you're always worried, like, your kids might pick up on that and you could have like an anxious baby or like a baby that cries a bunch. And if you put out there that you're calm, like hopefully your kids will pick up on it. Unfortunately, in our house, we don't put that out. And our kids haven't picked up on that. They've picked up. And that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about too, is like, there is nothing like having a son. Like that mother-son love is like next level.
Really? I hear that from so many people.
It is the best thing in the world. And one of my friends told me that like when your kid turns 4, there's like a magical fairy that comes and like sprinkles your child with like awesomeness. And it's so true. And when Robert turned 4, it was like, man, he's like my best friend.
I know y'all go on like cute ice cream dates and you take them like to Lowe's and that's the kind of stuff right now. I'm definitely having sweet moments with Tipton because he's a baby, but I'm very excited for like the mommy and me dates.
Yeah.
It is so amazing. Granted, I mean, I had an awesome date with Carter too. Like we went and got our nails done and did all this. So we like are forging that relationship, but Robert loves me so much. And I don't know, it's just sweet.
I wonder what it is about the mother-son relationship, because I do hear that from a lot of people. Like, obviously, you love your daughter. Every mother is going to love every one of their kids differently, but they do say that mother and son bond is like unimaginable. I wonder what it is about the boy.
I don't know, but it's almost like sometimes you'll be sitting there and you're like, is this inappropriate to like love my son this much? Like,
Tipton's starting to kiss me open mouth. So he's just like full on kind of sucking on my lips. I'm like,
eating your mouth.
I love this. This is so sweet.
Wow.
This is so
like, I love you before they go to bed or open mouth kiss you or whatever. Like, man, it makes it worth it.
Even now, Tipton is starting to get to the point where he's like, he'll put his head against my shoulder. So he's like intentionally cuddling. Thank you for telling me you love me by
they can
your
like
head.
recognize that you're the mom. Like you have that bond. That's so sweet. I can't wait for that.
And then they poop on you. So
And then you freak out. I need a hazmat suit every time I change a diaper.
It's shocking. I can handle poop. Like I can handle the baby poop, whatever, it's fine. I cannot handle snot. Like a runny nose, like.
I feel like poop being on me would gross me out. If it's like you, when you told your nail story, if I'm like sitting somewhere and I'm like, no, what does that smell? And I find it on me like hours later, I will freak out.
That will happen. You will be somewhere and you're like smelling your shoulder like, whoa, that's
not even a question. Like that's for sure going to happen to you. I went to Publix and there was like poo-poo on my shoulder. And I'm like,
somebody actually gave me a really good piece of advice. Like you should always have a change of clothes for
yourself,
your baby, but you should have a shirt change in your diaper bag ready to go. Yep.
Wish I had known that.
That's some good advice. Speaking of poop, I did want to know from both of y'all, because you both have already gone through birth. Did you poop when you gave birth? I'm curious.
I have no idea.
Okay.
So my mom was there when I had my first, right? And she told me like they're just all wiping. She was like, you can't even tell. Like they're wiping everything. It's not like you get done having the baby and you get up and you're like, there's a big pile of poop.
Right.
Like you have no idea.
Yeah. So they're prepared.
I had my intestines laid out on the table. So I had a C-section. I don't know. I didn't poop.
Carter came out in 6 seconds. Like I literally had her in one push. And so I can't imagine that in that 6 seconds, I also had time to poop.
Right. Did you get epidural?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So with Robert, my first, I didn't for like 11 or 12 hours. And that was just a lot.
Did you just want to try it naturally? I'm curious.
Because my mom was like, it's like period cramps. And like, she's a liar.
She's gone back and said that that's not what she meant. I don't know what she meant.
Don't either, because that's what she said. And I'm like, oh, I can handle it.
So I think as soon as you start kind of feeling, if you know you're going to get an epidural, and as soon as you're really starting to hurt, go ahead and make that decision. I tried to power through. And what was the drug, Kate, you told me not to take, and I took it?
Fentanyl or whatever it is. I don't know what it is.
Fentanyl. That was when I was on a absolute trip and was hallucinating.
A kite.
I was holding my tongue. I literally felt like I was in a 70s music video, like son, and like just holding my tongue because I thought I was gonna swallow it.
Right.
It was horrible. And it didn't take the pain away, but the doctor was like,
you're just high.
He was like, it's gonna feel like you're kind of tipsy. And I'm like, ooh, I haven't been tipsy in 9 months. I was like, this is not what being drunk feels like. 9 weeks. Sorry. I'm like, that's not a drunk. That was like what I assume would be like when people take mushrooms. It was horrible. Don't take that.
I was really loopy. Like it was kind of fun at first because I'm like, whoa. And then it wasn't fun because I still felt the pain. But I remember and I was like breathing like a cow, you guys. Like,
you mean like this is before you went into the hospital? Like you were just like,
I had to go into the hospital immediately because I had meconium when my water broke. Okay. Guys, you want to hear?
Yeah.
I was literally breathing like this.
Okay, even like, our mom who thinks we're all angels and never can do wrong, mom has been like, it was weird.
She also fell asleep, Maggie. I don't know if you know this. She fell asleep like after I got the epidural, everything like calmed down, it was better. And then she like wakes up from her slumber and she's like, oh my gosh, is the baby here? And I'm like, do you think that I just had the baby and we like will let you nap?
And let you nap
in the same room? Like, do you just think that you missed all of it? And Bo is doing push-ups and it was just it was an experience.
Classic.
He wanted to look good. Like we talked about, Julie, he wanted to look good for those skin on skin photos.
I feel like Ruben and Bo kind of have the same mentality because Ruben's the same way. He's like, if I don't work out, like I'm just not mentally there. I won't be able, I'm so foggy. I won't be able to focus. I can understand that to like an extent. Like if I don't work out in like 3 weeks, I'm like, okay, I feel like shit. And in the car the other day, we were on our way home. We had Sonic. I'm feeling like really fat. And he's like, I really got to get it together tomorrow. I need to go run like 5 miles. I really need to start looking good for that skin on skin photo I'm going to take.
Bo looked his absolute best. And I was like an absolute whale.
It's rude.
And somehow I was like the closer one to the camera every time. I enjoyed a donut. To be fair, with my first pregnancy, I didn't I didn't push very hard.
Yeah.
And then with my second pregnancy, I had gotten myself super, super lean and super, super fit again after I had Robert. And I didn't want to let that go. So I didn't stop at all the entire pregnancy. Like the day I had Carter, I was doing double unders at the gym.
That's so
and
crazy.
It made having her so much easier.
Yeah.
Because like your body's ready to go.
Okay. So obviously you talking about working out, that's definitely one of the reasons why now you have gone into being a CrossFit instructor, which is one of the things that Julie so kindly highlighted on your introduction. But another one that I wanted to talk about. So Julie is actually hiring you to be your decorator.
Yes. We have not mentioned that. Kate will be designing my house. And I will be listening to all of your recommendations.
Yeah. Are you sure?
Yes.
Kate seriously is so talented.
I feel like I'm a little different than some designers and decorators because I want to do it to where it's affordable for everybody. And so that doesn't mean that everything's custom. People have more access to nicer or prettier things because there are stores like Home Goods and there are stores like Target's even stepping up their stuff. Like you don't have to spend a bunch of money. And so you can have a better, design without it being crazy in every room or at least, parts of your house. But for me, I really think that the most important thing to have in your house is something that makes you happy. So I have, we used to live in Savannah and lived on the marsh and I missed it so much. And I bought a painting of the marsh and it's hanging in my dining room and it brings me so much joy. And I think that if you have something in your house that's actually meaningful to you, that's the most important thing. Like you want to enjoy your space and everybody's space is going to be different. I think that there are certain things that people, lighting makes a huge difference in your house. If you maybe splurge on a light here or there.
You sound like Marie Kondo.
Yeah.
What does she say? I'm not like if it doesn't bring you joy, if it doesn't spark joy in your life, then you get it out of your house.
I should probably listen to that a little more.
Like Julie, does that plant behind you spark joy?
Yeah. I love green.
I honestly love that plant. So I'm glad.
Are you talking shit about my plant?
No, I like your plant.
It's been a really fun kind of venture for me because I never thought that I would do it, especially while the kids were so young. I thought maybe I'll do this when they're older and, and I had a like serial entrepreneur friend who like pushed me to really start it. And I'm so glad that I did because I met some really cool people and we live in Noonan, Georgia, and we just had the tornado come through and I actually had somebody want me to come help their house to be rebuilt. And, I want to be able to help somebody and give back to other people.
But one question I do want to touch on is how do you, like a piece of advice, how are you juggling everything you have going on?
I think that I am really blessed that everything that I do brings me happiness, brings me joy, and I enjoy it. And then it's flexible. Like I touched on earlier, like my son's having sleeping issues and I was designing a room at 2:00 in the morning I would do everything. And also I'm really lucky that mom is here and that I have her help. Bo has a really, high stress, always working 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
Really, really lucky that I have mom who I trust completely.
One of the things I, in a future episode, would love to talk to, and maybe we'd even bring you back on, is like, at what point do you become friends with your parents?
Yeah.
And I think you and mom over the last, I don't know, maybe even 10 years, and me and mom as well, like once the parenting is complete, she is now like our friend. Y'all have such a good relationship now and y'all have become friends, which I think has been really, really cool to watch.
Yeah. Well, I think that she did everything right. Was her parenting with us started so obviously early in our lives, but opening the doors of communication and always talking to us that we have a good relationship.
Yeah.
So that it's not like, oh, mom's going to be or whatever. It's awkward. Like her and Bo are even close. And so it's, she did everything right for us to want her
to be around.
And that's what I want for my kids is we get in the car and they're 2 and 4 and asking them about their day and genuinely talking to them. And mom always did that.
This is also an exciting episode to have you on because the episode comes out the Thursday before Mother's Day. So for us all moms, and Julie, this is your first Mother's Day. I celebrated my first Mother's Day last year. And it is a little bit different this year because actually I'll be with my sister, with my mom, with my baby, but this is this is the start of your Mother's Day. So to have us all on here talking very candidly about what pregnancy is like and when your kids drive you crazy, but you love them, it's awesome that we have this community, and hopefully we have a lot of moms listening right now. So all of the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. Thank you so much for all that y'all do. We love you. I just love moms and think they're superheroes.
All the moms out there who are struggling, you know, just remember that like nothing lasts. The good doesn't last and the bad doesn't last. Everything is fleeting. Every single moment is fleeting. And
that's
I tell myself too, like, you know, Robert was awake for like 9 hours the other night and this is not lasting. And, you know, if I can just like hold on to it, cause he's going to leave and he's going to be gone someday. I'm like, I'm going to really like, it's going to make me cry, but like, I'm going to really miss it.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
You know, like being a mom is just the best and the hardest thing in the world because you love someone so much more than you could ever love yourself or anything else. And like you created this life, and for people out there that are struggling and want it so bad, I cannot imagine. And that's when I hope that like we as women can like rally around those people, because it is something really, really special. And I can't imagine not having it. As much as they drive me crazy, they are the best thing that's ever happened to me.
That's amazing. And you're such a good mom too. And
Thank you.
I look up to you. I know Maggie looks up to you, and we're so thankful that you were able to come join us on this episode. And we're so excited for you for your interior designing business. You were doing it as a side hobby, and now you're doing it full time. So guys, if you haven't checked her out, get on her schedule because she is jam-packed all the time. You can catch her on Instagram at Kate Wren Interiors. And thank you again. We really enjoyed having you here.
Guys.
Thank you. I don't think this will be the last time we have you on. So we love you so much.
I love you guys.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps it up for our episode 3. Thank you guys for listening, and come hang out next Thursday for your weekly pump and dump.